South Africa takes centre stage in brand excellence as Johannesburg hosts a landmark event celebrating the continent's most admired names in business. And Brand Africa, in collaboration with Brand South Africa, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and Business Day, is set to unveil the 2025 Brand Africa 100. Let's take you there live now.
Because it's one thing to be good at one thing, but to be good across multiple dimensions really takes something. And that's why we recognize MTN. Can the entire head office of MTN join us? Congratulations. These are all yours. I have no clue why you didn't bring everybody with. I'll help you with that.
Thank you.
It's okay, hold it. It's fine. Matjie, we do a picture. Congratulations for a spectacular performance across the continent. What we also did, for the first time, we instituted a Hall of Fame. And a Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame is for those brands which have consistently, for the last 15 years, been in the rankings. And that brand is MTN, but they don't have to come back again. We get it. Yellow is a warm color for winter. Now we come to the best brands in Africa. South Africa.
Okay. At the heart of every admired brand lies something deeper than a logo or a slogan. It is a story, a sense of purpose, and a promise. And when we speak of Brand South Africa, we speak of a vision, a nation that is not only competitive on the global stage, but one that is confident, capable, and proudly African. It is my honor to welcome a man whose career has been dedicated to advancing that vision. Mr. Neville Matjie is the CEO of Brand South Africa, our nation's official marketing agency. Tasked with shaping and elevating South Africa's reputation at home and abroad, with a strong foundation in economic development, trade and investment, he has brought over 400 billion in investments into KwaZulu-Natal. You'll notice that's not Gauteng, I'm just putting it out there. Through his leadership roles, including as CEO of the province's Trade and Investment Agency and as a special advisor to the Premier of KZN. Please join me in welcoming a man whose commitment to our national image is as unwavering as it is inspiring. Hi, Neville. Thank you. Go ahead. Let me take all these things.
Yes, KwaZulu-Natal it was, but I'm in Gauteng now. This is my brand now, but my brand is South Africa. I used to have a boss who always used to say, every time they would call him up, he would say, oh, it's like you're actually reading my obituary. So, but I used to say to him, you need to celebrate your life while you are still living. Ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Minister, my boss, thank you for being with us this afternoon. Mr. Ikalafeng, my brother from Kimberley, thank you for being here with us also and hosting us for this afternoon. Partners, fellow CEOs that I've seen and met this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for this opportunity. Today I want to speak to you about logos and about marketing campaigns, something that speaks to you and to all of us. Nation branding is about how the world sees our culture and our people and our industries and our own potential. It is an emotion, an intellect, and the perception that people actually hold about who you are. Our country, South Africa, is more than a destination, it is a story. A story told through our people, our landscapes, and most importantly, the brands that we are seeing here today, which I'm really proud of. You think about Nando's, whose cheeky and bold marketing and proudly South African flavor has really resonated throughout the world. Earlier, 2 years ago, I was in a small town outside of Washington, D.C. In the evening, I took a walk, trying to see what I can eat. As I hit the corner, I saw Nando's. I couldn't believe it. Of course, I paid a packet for it, but I still went for Nando's. Did you ever think, from a small little town of Umhlatuzi, I think most of us don't know where that is, Richards Bay, a yellow metals company called Bell Equipment is producing products that are actually in Germany today, in the US, in a number of European countries. But in Germany and in US, they've actually set up even a base. South African company doing us proud. Well, need I say much about MTN? I'm not going to say much, but congratulations, MTN. And again, you've really done us proud in the African continent. Every time I travel within Africa, you see MTN. Africa's biggest broadcasting agency, the SABC, continues to really fly the flag of our country. And they continue to innovate and do more and more. Other brands, Woolworths, Castle Lager, Outsurance, etc., all these brands really continue to grow our country. I always say, my work does not end just with me going to fly the flag. The flag is flown through how we translate our products in those markets. The more we see those products in new markets, the more we are able to then say, South Africa is really doing well. We were really proud to see our president in the US flying our flag. What was so beautiful about the after effect, and I was in Europe at the time, for 6 consecutive days, the news were all about South Africa. But everyone was positive about South Africa. It means we are doing something right as a destination, and everyone spoke so fondly and so passionately about our beautiful country, South Africa. But it doesn't mean we've got to put it in second gear. Because everyone's speaking so well about South Africa, we will continue marketing South Africa and putting South Africa in the right place globally. If we don't do that, somebody is going to overtake us. That is the other part about being a powerful brand, innovation, and always diversifying in terms of your product and your portfolios. Otherwise, you become stagnant. I'm speaking to the converted, of course. Let's continue to support and celebrate the brands that carry our nation's essence and pride. Let's build a brand, South Africa, that's resilient, respected, and recognized not only for its beauty, but for its brilliance. Wherever you go and you hear that South Africans are working in specific destinations, Mr. Ikalafeng, somebody tongue-in-cheek said South Africans work even harder when they're outside of South Africa. So, of course, I encourage everyone to continue working even more when you're at home, so that we continue to build our country and really create a powerful brand that everyone wants to be associated with. At one stage, the South African flag was the most recognizable flag in the world. And I know we can get it back there again. We just slipped a few steps down, but we can climb those steps again. And my vision for Brand South Africa is to translate what my principles also indicate to me. And tonight I have with me the Honorable Deputy Minister, Minister Kenny Morolong, who is the Deputy Minister in the Presidency and who is also responsible for Brand SA. His extensive experience within Parliament, the African National Congress, and now the executive branch has shaped his strong advocacy and transformative and accountable converted him into a strong and accountable public administrator. He is, of course, forever learning and forever studying, which is very important because it ensures that you always remain relevant. But hailing from the Northwest Province and matriculated in Itsupileng Secondary School. Our minister, deputy minister's political activism began at the age of 9 when he joined the ANC's Young Pioneers, later becoming its president. He went on to lead the Congress of South students, COSAS in Northwest, spearheading campaigns for education reform. His leadership journey continued through the ANC Youth League. He is now old youth. And of course, continues in ANC structures. But he's very passionate about our country, passionate about service delivery, and most importantly, passionate about corporate governance at the top of his list. Whatever you do, do it right, do it passionately, but remember, what you do wrong will always follow you. Our Deputy Minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. Thank you for making me appear like an important person here today. You know, distinguished guests, when I came here, arrived here, I spoke to Ndade Igalafe, who whispered to me and said, "Skagwatata today, don't be a politician." But about Kimberley are quite blunt. As we gather here this evening, and as I commence my address, 49 years ago, young people gathered in Orlando Donaldson Community Hall are about to wrap up a meeting which will herald a new era. Tsietsi Mashinini, Khotso Siatlholo, Seth Mazibuko, Dan Muntiti, and many others are wrapping up a meeting that will herald a new era in the history of South African politics. We're gathered here today because of the strides and the achievements scored by the generation of 1976. We owe a debt to this generation that can never be repaid. Program Director, Brand Africa founder, Mr. Thebe Ikalafeng and your team, Brand South Africa CEO, Mr. Neville Matjie and your team, the leadership of JSE represented by Ms. Vuyoli, the Group CEO of SABC, Ms. Nomsa Chabedi, marketing, advertising and communication sector companies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is from occasions such as these that demands of us to truly reflect on the work we do as South Africans to make South Africa a destination to visit, invest, work, and study at. Nation branding remains one of the most effective techniques for any nation to compete in the global and reputation market space. Being the official marketing agency of South Africa, Brand SA is tasked with improving how South Africa is perceived globally. The objective is to position the country as an attractive destination to invest in, visit, work, study, or do business with. As a presidency, we are acutely aware of the importance of creating a compelling brand image for South Africa, one that is globally competitive and resonates. Our team at Brand SA continues to align and embed our brand architecture with all our sub-brands to ensure that all South African brands, with both public and private, seek to reinforce and borrow from the nation brand position. The impact, therefore, of Brand SA and its work is measured by how global perceptions and awareness levels shift over time. According to the 2025 Global Reputation Study conducted by Bloom Consulting and Brand SA, South Africa's global brand equity is on the upward trajectory, with 5 out of 6 key dimensions showing improvement: export, investment, tourism, work and study. These gains reflect the effectiveness of Brand South Africa's strategic positioning and international engagement. Program Director, practical meaning of these improvements is that over time more jobs can be created across our export sectors, in the tourism industry and the education and cultural spaces. An improved nation brand equity means more opportunities for South Africans to improve their lives, to have globally competitive skills, to find decent work, to create decent brands that compete globally. It means that brands such as Maxhosa, Batu, and Girl X Boy, I hope I pronounced it correctly, Girl X Boy, in the clothing and textile sector can thrive globally. Brands like Tsepo Jeans have an opportunity to open stores across the African continent and the big metropolitan cities of the world because they can borrow from a rising and globally competitive nation brand equity. Let me acknowledge Mr. Tsepo Muthala, whom I have seen in the audience here this evening, from whose brand, Tsepo Jeans, I bought this cardigan. I'm also pleased to announce that I'm dressed by 3 other local designers. My suit and shirt is designed by Mr. Make from Make and Make Designs. Shoes from Relevance for men and socks from Maxhosa. I'm making these out of character disclosure to make a point that our domestic brand can only be thrust on the global stage through our patronage. Ladies and gentlemen, a recent brand valuation study by Brand Finance for Brand South Africa revealed that 87% of our nation brand equity is driven by the private sector. This is a profound metric that underscores the importance of brands as a lens through which our story is told. The ones we build, the ones we export, and the ones that carry the spirit of South Africa into the global hearts and homes. We have many such brands in the telecommunications sector, clothing and textile, food and beverages. MTN and Nando's are just a few to mention. These are brands that help nations in Africa and the world to connect through mobile networks and a plate of food, whether in Lagos or in London. Recognizing the role that brands play in contributing to the nation brand equity, it is befitting, therefore, that Brand South Africa supports the Brand Africa 100, South Africa's Best Brands 2025 announcement, as it recognizes and celebrates the most admired brands in the country and in the continent. It is worth noting that in the 2024 report, South Africa won an award of the most admired nation brand in the continent. I have no intention of coercing the Brand African team to make a similar announcement. However, I remain hopeful that our performance has not changed. Even this year, we will await this announcement with bated breath. Program Director, this year specifically, with South Africa having assumed the G20 presidency, it provides a perfect opportunity to showcase our country's excellence, not only economically or diplomatically, but symbolically through the brands that embody our nation's identity, values, and vision. In a world marked by seismic geopolitical power shifts and cultural recalibration, brands have become softer power assets. They shape perceptions, they foster influence, and build bridges, in essence, becoming key feature of our cultural diplomacy. It is for these reasons that we have long partnered with Brand Africa Business Day and the JSE to spotlight the brands that are not just commercially successful, but that are our cultural emissaries. the brands that don't just sell but signify the strength of our cultural diversity. This year, as the gaze of the world is on the shores of our small yet globally ambitious nation, with the eyes of the G20 on us, we must make greater emphasis of this important partnership. It is within our national interest to take Africa along, and for Africa to take us along. Our progress as a people, it is intrinsically linked to the progress of all the peoples of Africa. Despite domestic and global headwinds, South Africa remains the continent's most diversified and industrialized economy, which must continue to serve as gateway to the African continent. We are a leading nation of brands that have become fixtures, not only just in our local economy, but across the continent. This is a lens through which we should view and promote our global competitiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, it is pleasing to see brands made in South Africa on par with those of the US and other global brands. It is a reminder of our country's resilience, excellence, and competitiveness. In a country with an overwhelming youth population, it is pleasing to see the rankings reflecting our enterprising youth, not just in arts and culture, but in building great brands of the future to tell a story of a vibrant South Africa. Ultimately, these rankings are not just a celebration of South Africa's best brands, but a celebration of a nation brand. Moreover, it is a call to action, to business, to government, to civil society, to continue building a nation brand worthy of admiration, because nations show their competitiveness through the brands they create, the brands they use, and the brands they export. I thank you.
Please join me. Vanessa, you can speak all night with me. So it's the kind of language I like. So that's the kind of language you speak. I'm teasing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those insightful remarks. So I feel coerced, actually. I feel coerced by your last remark about making sure you don't let go of South Africa as the number one brand in the continent. So what we did in Ethiopia, we also announced the most admired African country, and the one country that contributes to a better Africa. And we, looking at the performance of the country over the last few years, we felt it was appropriate, at least the Governing Council felt it was appropriate, to ensure that South Africa, which has consistently been recognized as the most admired nation, belongs in the Hall of Fame and is being ranked one more time as the most admired country in the continent. I see my friend Pelani on the left somewhere here. He's from Lesotho, and Basotho named South Africa as well as their favorite country. So we can move. Bring all the South Africa ones. All the South Africa ones. Bring all the South Africa ones. It's a South African party today. I think the minister, the deputy minister, and the CEO has mentioned that to build a great country takes a village. Can the village from Brand South Africa join this team to celebrate the country? The team South Africa, Coco, I can see you guys. Where are you guys? Join. Thank you so much. Minister, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Neville, I appreciate you. Yes, of course.
Just a quick one. It's not right to speak after my principal has spoken, but he whispered in my ear. He said, how are we going to ensure that we celebrate the brands that are announced today? So watch the space ourselves together with Brand Africa. We will put together a separate day where we have a dialogue and discuss how we take our brands even to a greater level. So thank you very much. And the DM spoke so aptly about how well he dressed. I must admit that I wouldn't have color coordinated if it wasn't for my wife. So otherwise, I would have been colorblind.
But it was, I must say, to me, the highlight of the Deputy Minister's speech is that he walked the talk. And he represented the brands that we all admire, that we want to see. Can Ricardo Lopes please join me? So part of how we do the study, we've got two great partners. We've got Geopol, which is the biggest mobile research company in the world, and we've got Kantar, which is the biggest information company in the world. The two of them help us to do this independently. As I said earlier, we don't get paid to do this. I personally have spent about $1 million in the last 15 years invested in this. I could have bought a farm or I could have planted a seed into the next generation. I chose the latter. I'm going to recognize a series of brands, and the first one being the most admired consumer brand. South African brand. Bull brand, I grew up with Bull brand. You remember? Kappa Kappa. The number one brand is, I don't know, remind me? Tiger brand. I left my list. And the number one most admired retail brand, that came at two, I apologize. Pick and Pay, Woolworths. I hope the suit is from Woolworths. Is the suit from Woolworths? I got bidding bag and J. Number three, number one telecommunications brand was like, I know. I apologize. Nompilo. Nompilo is the big cheese at MTN, and she missed the big cheeses we gave before. Welcome, Nompilo. I hope you're making sure connections is better than any other. Next is the most admired financial, I'm going to make two in a row. Most admired financial services and most admired banking brand in South Africa. FNB. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. They topped the financial services ranking and they topped the banking ranking, but they could not beat the next team. Most admired insurance brand, Natives, Old Mutual. Thank you. Good to see you. I think it's all of Lu. She was there before as well. I think this is all concocted. The #1 apparel brand in the country. It's not Batu, it's not Makosa, it's Galax Boy. What a revolution this brand has been. So, because I hang out with Gen Zs, they all tell me, Uncle, we don't wear Galax Boy. What's up with you? But wonderful. I think this brand you started how many years ago? 13 years ago. So you can look, I think what's so interesting is the last 13 years, and I think you'll see as the time goes, the last 15 years, the young ones have come to play. They've come to play, and it's been beautiful to watch. And the #1 media brand in the country, it's not Netflix, it is DSV, it's SABC. Well done.
Congratulations.
Things have really changed since Nomsa got there. Nomsa is making sure we are glued onto our TVs and we are paying our TV licenses. Ninga Koshi, please. Debit orders, TV license.